Hi everyone, Casey Mullaney here from CaseyMullaney.com. So I'm running a couple minutes behind, had a few things come up that took a little longer than I anticipated, but I am here now talking about stress and overwhelm. So if you read my post from this morning, you'll know that I woke up a little overwhelmed this morning. I took some days off, so I do a lot of work as I go. Like, I'm not always the best at pre-planning or pre-scheduling things, because most of my posts that I write a ton of stuff. I also have tons of video ideas, but I really love the things that come to me at the time. So a lot of times, even though I have all these things I could use, I still like to do things in a more timely manner. And because I was out of town, my normal little schedule got screwed up, and I was like, holy cow, I have too much to do today. I have way too much that I have to fit in today. And I woke up this morning a little overwhelmed and stressed because of that. So I'm obviously, even though I teach on this stuff, I'm not immune to it. But what I wanted to go through today was just a couple of the things that help me when I'm starting to get really overwhelmed. The very first thing I did this morning was I attempted to meditate, because sometimes just taking those deep breaths, doing that calming deep breathing, which sometimes does work. It sometimes replaces that stress. It brings things into perspective. Starting to do that will just kind of eliminate my stress immediately. So I started to meditate, and that was not working. It was just my brain was firing too much, and it was not going to calm down. So I was like, okay, if this is not working, if this is not going to let me calm down, the next thing I moved on to this morning was journaling. So I sat there, and I didn't just sometimes I talk about free writing journaling. That's not what I did this morning. This morning, what I sat there and did was okay, what is actually stressing me out? What is the root of the stress right now? What is actually causing this problem, actually causing these fears? Because overwhelm and stress always starts from a fear. Everything that causes bad reactions within us typically start from a fear. It's not coming up because of, we're happy and everything's all good. There's usually an underlying fear there. So what are you actually afraid of? What are you actually not wanting to happen? What do you think will happen? What's the true fear here? If you don't get all of this done today, is all of it actually required to be done today? What's actually bothering me? And I didn't go through all of those questions this morning, but those are some of the ones that I'll think about. And then I stop myself, after I've figured it out, kind of the root, I'll ask myself this very specific question, that if I knew that I was completely supported, whether that's, mentally, physically, financially, whatever, if I knew that I was completely supported, what would I do today? What would I actually move forward with? And for me, this doesn't always mean oh, I just go hang at the beach all day or something like that. That's not what this means. This means what sounds I mean, sometimes you need that. So I do I can't acknowledge that there are times you need that, but this is when you have a lot going on. What would I really focus on? What would be my main focuses today if I knew that I was completely supported and I knew that everything was going to go well? And that's another thing to remind yourself, if I knew this was all going to go well, because it will, you'll move on, you'll keep living, hopefully, should keep living. These things are not going to be what end your demise necessarily. So if I knew all this could go well, and sorry, I had an alarm go off. If I knew all this could go well and I knew that I was supported, what would I focus on? What would I actually pay attention to today? And from there, I was able to write out an actual list, an actual list of what mattered for me to focus on today. Not these 5 million things that were floating around in my head, not everything I wanted to get done, things that need to get done, things that we need to do or pay for or schedule or whatever, none of that. It was truly what I needed to focus on for today is what ended up coming out in that list. Now, one of the things to help make that list more condensed, and I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's been a while, is knowing when to say no. Knowing when commitments are just too much for you. Knowing when you or how to even balance things a little bit better in your schedule so that you're not overwhelming yourself. And that kind of goes into saying no. So picking priorities, and this is a whole different video, but and I've done stuff on this in the past, so you can always flip back through, but picking your priorities and deciding what you really want to commit to. Like really focusing on what you want to commit to and not making it too much. Like a lot of times we try to say yes to too many things, even sometimes it's things that maybe we want to do, but there's other things that we want more. And in the meanwhile, we're filling in all this shit that we've got to get done, and all it does is overcrowd and make us overwhelmed and overstressed, you know? Whereas if we sit there and we look and go, what do I want the most out of this? Like this is another just great way to like help you sort what you need to say no to. What do I want the most out of this? Like, do I want, for me, do I want my business to grow? Do I want more time with my husband? Do I want to be able to fit in more time, like just to like relax, chill out and read? Like what actually is valuable to me? And how can I fit this in more? So once you kind of decide what's actually valuable to you, whether that's time with your kids, doing certain activities, like whatever it is, start with those things. Like, I know most people have like work. Like basically I think we all have some kind of work that we're doing. Like put that in the bones of your schedule. Like, and what do you actually have to do? What can you say no to? I know a lot of people that like way overcommit themselves with their career and then they're miserable. Like, even look in that, like where are you way overcommitting yourself with your career and see where you can back off. And people are like, oh, I can't. But a lot of times you can. You just have to like really look at it. Like what's going to matter? What's really going to make a bigger impact? And go from there. Then look at your next priorities. Like for me, one of my next priorities is spending time with Jimmy. Like we don't have a ton of time we get to have together because of our schedules are so different. So what we do is we plan certain days of the week that are totally for us, or certain chunks of time. If we can't have a full day, that's totally for us. So that gets put in like with what I want to spend time in my schedule. Like some of these are truly scheduled in my calendar. If that helps you, do that. Other times it's just the allotted chunks of time I know in my head that are set for us. So doing that next, then going on to the next priority or want. And one of the things I want to incorporate more time on for me is I need more time to recharge. Like I need time by myself. And a lot of people don't schedule that. They're just like, oh, I'll fit it in. So one of the things I do is I make sure like my first bit of my morning is allotted to like time for me for what I need. Whether that's maybe spending 15 minutes reading or journaling a bit or meditating, whatever I need, like in that extra bit of time, like that's what I give myself because that's incredibly important. If you're not, especially like for anyone that's like I'm naturally introverted. If you're naturally introverted, if you are, not giving yourself that me time, or even sometimes even when you're true extroverts gain their energy and refuel themselves from being around people, don't need as much me time, but you still need a little bit of quiet just to like sort things and figure out like things like your priorities and things like that, what's truly meaningful to you and what you truly want. Takes time to go within yourself. So make sure you're taking time for that, and then go on to your next priority and then see what the left, once you're kind of have things in your schedule, see what's left over that doesn't really fit. And what do you really want to have in there and what do you not? Does it really fit your life? Is this really valuable to you? Is this something that you maybe can eliminate and say no to? Because the thing is, you want to focus on what you can do and also what you want to do. Today there's only so much that I can do, but I also need to focus on what do I really want my outcome to be? What do I want the result to be and what's going to help me get to that result? Do I want some more quiet time with myself? Do I want to grow my business? Do I want more time with my husband? What do I actually want? And when you start focusing on that, it makes it easier to see what you actually want to fill in your schedule, and it makes it easier to decrease that overwhelm because it makes it an easier no. When you realize that you're giving up one of your main priorities by agreeing to extra stuff in your schedule, or maybe not allotting things that need to be done in different times. I could have done more this last week. Might have decreased my overwhelm, but at the same time, it's all about figuring out how it works best for you and not having any harshness, judgment, or guilt over any of it. Just going, okay, this is not working. This is not the best for me. Maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to see how we can make this better moving forward. And having that attitude around it as well. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be angry at yourself. That doesn't help the situation. I can't tell you a single time that I've beat myself up and it helped anything. So anyways, if you have any extra questions on this or want to chat about this some more, definitely feel free to comment, reach out. One last little announcement too. We actually end up having to reschedule the membership call. So the Your Limitless Life membership call will actually be on Saturday morning now. I would love for you to join us if you are not a member. And definitely head to CaseyMullaney.com to sign up for that. The price of that will actually be going up, so you definitely want to sign up now. So love you guys. Talk to you soon. Let me know if there is anything from this that you still would like some help with. Love you all. Bye.